Alrighty. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Helena Ko. I am a fourth-year student here at UCR, majoring in business with a concentration in management. My faculty mentor is Dr. Sean Josso. Unfortunately, he cannot make it today. But today I'm going to be talking about on our own turf differentiation strategy against a low-cost leader. This is a brief overview of what we will be talking about today. So I'm going to delve into some background regarding my research, as well as the main research question we will talk about today. We will then talk about data and the methodology of analyzing that data. And then finally, we will talk about the findings, the lessons learned, and the intellectual impact. So my research centers around the International Collegiate Business Strategy Competition, or ICBSC for short, and it has a very long history. It was initially established in 1965 by David Cotter, which makes it the longest running simulation competition globally. From 1965 to 1973, universities competing in the competition manually inputted their decisions on punch cards. When David Cotter passed away, Mr. David Fritchie took over in managing the competition, and he created the computer program for the competition, and that computer program was run from 1973 to 2016. It wasn't until 2017 when David Fritchie, along with Dr. Simon Rodin of San Jose State University, created the browser-based version of the competition, which is what you see here on your screen. So in the ICBSC, universities globally play the business policy game, which is where universities run a simulated company for 5 years. So pretty much from year 3 to year 7. And in the game, that company has 3 domestic markets as well as 1 international market. And universities have to make decisions in all work centers, from marketing, salespeople, finance, and production capacities. UC Riverside has been competing in the ICBSC since 2012 and has a decade-long winning streak with Dr. Sean Josso as the main advisor. This year, I had the honor of competing in UCR's undergraduate team, where we ran our company, Everblue, and we won 2nd place in overall performance as well as best written documents. So in the game, or in the competition, my team used differentiation strategy, which is a competitive strategy in which a firm focuses on a niche market or a niche customer base where we provide unique value to those customers. So in the game, we personally offer premium product features for our niche market. Our main competitor did the exact opposite. They focused on low-cost leadership, where they focus on cost minimization and a very large market share or a very large customer base. And in turn, that leads to low product pricing. So think of like a Walmart. That is, Walmart uses low-cost leadership. So leading to this, my main question is, how does differentiation strategy fare against a low-cost leader in the ICBSC? So let's delve right in. So in the competition, my team makes quarterly decisions on all work centers. And then from there, we submit those decisions and we get these reports that you see here on your screen. So these reports list what our decisions results are. And these reports include consolidated net incomes and balance sheets, operating information, as well as industry reports. So let's delve into what you see here on this screen. In this section right here, it lists our company's inventory levels. So we analyze these inventory levels to make sure that we have enough safety stock on hand to satisfy our customers' needs. In addition, we also analyze the customer orders or our customer demand. And then we also look at our market share per market area that we have. In addition, right in this section over here, we learn our latest model version of our product, as well as the production costs for the following quarter and the savings levels. So our research and development expenditures help us create our next model version without cannibalizing our product lifecycle. And then our training expenditures help us create a more efficient production team, so that way we can achieve the highest savings levels in our production. What you see here on your screen is now an industry report comparing our metrics to our competitors. So this section right over here lists our GDP, the CPI, as well as the real GDP projected growth, as well as the exchange rate forecasts. So we use all these metrics right here to determine the best time to expand our production capacities in all our markets. And then the rest of this report now compares our metrics against our competitors. So this section right over here compares our financial metrics to our competitors, and we specifically look at stock price, earnings, and net income. We also want to see how our gross sales numbers compare to our rivals as well. So this section over here compares our sales in dollar amount, as well as our sales in unit sales. So we just want to be on par with our rivals. In addition, we also look at our product pricing. Oops, excuse me, the lights turned off. So that will turn on eventually. There we go. So we also look at product pricing as well. Since we are a differentiation company, we do want our product pricing to be in the highest in our market. And then last but not least, we also look at our product positioning. So this shows where we are compared to our competitors in positioning our product. So we always want to be in an uncontested market. And as you can see here on your screen, the red circles show that we always competed in the premium feature product market, and we were uncontested the entire game. So now we take all that data from the results and we put it into our statistical analyses. So what you see here on your screen is our regression analysis that we use for our marketing decisions as well as our production decisions. For the sake of time, I'm going to solely focus on our marketing decisions. So this first image that you see right here takes the time period that we were analyzing for, as well as the dummy variables that for the quarters, as well as our projected real GDP and our pricing and advertising estimates that we are trying to decide for our next decision. This image over here is our regression analysis, and we use the coefficients in our regression analysis, along with the real GDP and the price and the advertising to help forecast our unit sales. So the equation that you see here on your screen helps us determine the projected unit sales for the following quarter, and to determine the optimal combination of pricing and advertising to create the most unit sales. And then we use this regression analysis per market area on a quarterly basis. This is also another analysis that we use to analyze our data. This is to specifically focus on our salespeople. So in each market area, there is a sales office to help sell our product. So this is to help us determine how efficient our salespeople are in those offices. So we take the total units sold in each market area, divide by the number of salespeople in that market area, and that determines how many units are sold per person. So the higher the number, that means the more efficient that sales team is in that market area. So we use this metric to match any expanded production capacities in that quarter as well. So after all that analysis, we then take those results and put them into our decision form, which is what you see here on the screen. The decision form is then split into the different work centers that I mentioned earlier, which is marketing, salespeople, finance, and production. And production is then split into subcategories. So throughout the whole entire competition, Team Everblue, so the company that we ran, solely focused on executing differentiation strategy. So that meant we offered premium products the entire game. That means that we had the highest product pricing. We had the most robust sales force team to sell those products. We combined it with a very high advertising budget to help spread the news of our product, as well as lean production capacities. And differentiation strategy did work very well in the game. So I'm now going to delve into our results and our findings in the game. So as you can see here in the left-hand side of the screen, which is our annual net income, our annual net income grew exponentially throughout the game. So in year 3, the first year that we took over our company, our net income was around $1.5 million. And then by the time year 7 hit, our annual net income was around $7.6 million. So that is about a 400% increase in our net income. Since we are a differentiation strategy company, market share is not our sole focus because we realize that we are catering to a niche market. However, it's really encouraging to see how our market share did grow throughout our time in management. So in year 3, our market share was around 25%, and our goal was to maintain it at around 25 to 26% the entire game. However, it's really encouraging to see that in year 7, our market share actually did grow to 29%. In addition, our earnings per share or our EPS also grew quite a bit during our time in management. So EPS determines our corporate value and our company's profitability. So in year 3, our EPS was around 0.25. And then we had a 450% increase. So by the time we, in our year 7 EPS, our EPS was around 147. So that's around like a 450% increase. Our stock price also experienced something similar. In year 3, our stock price was around $1.50. And then by year 7, our stock price was around $8.70. So that's about a 500% increase. So these findings show us that differentiation strategy does work in the game. We consistently executed differentiation strategy, and that helped us create a very sustainable company. And I would argue that even past year 7, if the game continued on, our differentiation strategy would work and our company would continue to grow. So now let's delve into how we compared to our main competitor, Spartan Eyewear. So Spartan Eyewear used low-cost leadership, which means that they focus on cost minimization. So when we look at our annual gross sales compared to theirs, which is what you see on your left-hand side of the screen, you can see that our annual gross sales were relatively on par with them the entire game. I want to solely focus on year 7, so our very last year of management. In year 7, Spartan Eyewear's annual gross sales was around $53 million, and ours was around $50 million. So we were only $3 million off from theirs, which is about a 7% difference. We see something similar in market share. So Spartan Eyewear did own the largest market share. Thank you, Arnold. Did own the largest market share at 33%. And they did try and expand their market share throughout the game. However, it's really encouraging to note that we own the second largest part of the market at 29%. So we were only 4% away from achieving parity with them. So our metrics look a little different when we compare our net income. So as you can see from years 5 to year 7, Spartan Eyewear's net income was significantly higher than ours. So why is this the case? Spartan Eyewear did focus on low-cost leadership, which means that they focused on either economy level or standard level features and product quality. So that lowers their production costs. In addition, they had very large production capacities, which help them achieve economies of scale. So that means that the more resources you have, in this case, it will be production lines, the more units you can produce, which means the cost per unit decreases significantly. So low production costs in combination with high sales revenue helps Spartan Eyewear achieve a significant level of net income. It's also really interesting to note that in year 7, Spartan Eyewear did have higher prices than us in certain market areas, and that helped them also achieve net income in year 7. However, their market share did plateau between year 6 to year 7, indicating that Spartan Eyewear's price hike in year 7 is not sustainable. So with that being said, what are the lessons learned? We learned that we ran a company on our own turf. We consistently executed differentiation strategy, and we created a sustainable company. We also learned that low-cost leaders gain faster traction in the game in achieving the highest metrics, whether that's market share or annual gross sales. We also learned that differentiation leaders, they might not achieve the highest metrics, but they are nonetheless a very stiff rival for low-cost leaders. So this research will help future players understand both differentiation strategies as well as low-cost leaders strategies effects in the game. And understanding these strategies will help future players determine which strategy will help them achieve their objectives in the end. I want to give special acknowledgements to Dr. Sean Jossel, my faculty mentor, and also the main advisor for the competition, as well as Mr. Arnold Ramirez, who is also one of the advisors in the competition. I would also like to thank the undergraduate team as well for their contributions. This is my selected bibliography. And this concludes my presentation. The floor is open for discussion.
Thank you, Helena.